Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. I want to start this podcast by talking about crack and steroids. I was thinking the other day how it's sort of odd that these two drugs, which are, well, first off, I hope this does not get my video demonetized just by using these words. You never know with YouTube. But I was thinking the other day about how we've taken these two drugs that in the United States are considered, I believe, class 3 controlled substances, so illegal, crack and steroids, and kind of turned them into complements. You know, like crack chicken, for example, or, whenever something's big or better or cooler or something like that, we tend to say that it's on steroids, like crack chicken on steroids, for example. Anyhow, it's just something that popped into my brain. Short topic, done. Now, if you're watching or listening to this podcast on the day it's released, Monday, it's Easter Monday. And this really is one of my I take that back. It used to be one of my two favorite days of the year. The day after Easter and the day after Valentine's Day. If you figured out the connection, both of those days are the days that candy for that particular holiday go on sale for 50% off. So for Valentine's Day, my big thing, pre-keto, was going out and buying the Sweethearts hearts. So, it's Sweethearts, but they're bigger and just pure sugar. And I would eat those one after another until my mouth was just raw, till my tongue was numb and the roof of my mouth was torn apart. But Easter Monday is even better because not only do you have the egg-shaped Sweethearts, you also have the Reese's peanut butter eggs, which, are pretty sizable. And then my other favorite are the malted milk eggs. I always loved malted milk balls, but malted milk eggs with that little, crunchy exterior, bonus. There are a couple of Easter candies, though, that I'm really not into and have never been into. One is the chocolate bunny. For some reason, it just always seemed a little bit macabre to me, eating the bunny. You're dismembering the bunny, you're pulling off its ears or decapitating it and then eating it. It just felt very, almost cruel to me, even as a child, just, like I said, dismembering and eating this bunny. The other thing that I just do not like and have never liked is the Cadbury cream egg. I don't know whoever thought that this was a good idea. First off, it is so incredibly, cloyingly sweet. Thinking about it almost makes me ill right now. I probably had a blood glucose spike just thinking about it. I got out onto the internet this morning and looked up the nutritional facts and ingredients on a Cadbury egg. It has 26 grams of sugar. That's the equivalent of 6 teaspoons of sugar. Can you imagine sitting down and eating 6 teaspoons of sugar? Crazy. And in fact, as you look at the ingredients list, it's got sugar, glucose syrup, and invert sugar syrup. I don't know what that is. Never heard of it before, but very sugary. The other thing too is I'm a little bit weirded out by the inside. When I cook an egg, I like the white to be fully set. And any sort of runny white just kind of, gives me the heebies. So just sort of texturally, that inside of the egg just is not right to me. So I'd be curious to know, did any of you like Cadbury eggs back before you went keto? Let me know down in the comments. Or if there's some other Easter candy that you were especially fond of, let me know that too. But thinking about the candy and everything also got me thinking about what my mom used to do for Easter for us. She would make these Easter baskets out of Rice Krispie treats. So she would make the Rice Krispie treat mixture and she'd put some green food dye in it, I think to mimic, like that fake grass that's oftentimes in Easter baskets. And she would mold it over a bowl and then let it set and then pop the bowl out. So you basically had this basket that was Rice Krispie treat. And then she would put some of my favorite candy in it, which happened to be malted milk eggs. Now, I don't know if my mom saw this idea in something like, Good Housekeeping or some magazine like that, or if she was just sort of ahead of her time with the whole edible bowl sort of thing. Because This was back early to mid 70s, so I think it predates, at least around my neighborhood in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, predates the edible taco shell taco salad bowl, and it definitely predates the whole Panera edible soup bowl made out of sourdough bread. So if my mom actually invented this thing, cool. She'll probably see this podcast and then email me and let me know whether she invented it or not. I would prefer to just believe that she invented it. Now that I've talked about both Rice Krispie Treats and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I think I'm going to have to do that peanut butter chocolate crisp fat bomb recipe of mine. If you're not familiar with it, I'll link to it right up here. I want some of those right now. But I can't have any right now because I'm filming a podcast. I'll make them later. From time to time in the podcasts, I like to share a little with you about YouTube and content creation, kind of give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look. And it's possible that I talked about this particular topic at some point, some time ago, but that is on the whole comment management sort of thing. It used to be that there were 3 buckets of comments that a content creator would see. So first there is published. That means it didn't trip any alarms. It's all good. Next is held for review. These are comments that tripped some sort of YouTube flag or a content creator's flag. So content creators can create their own. YouTube has a number of things that it looks for: hate speech, racism, I think profanity. I'm not sure what all there is. There's a fair amount. And if a comment has some particular word or words in it, it will go into that bucket where then a content creator, like me, can look through and see, is it truly offensive? Is it bad? Or was it just sort of a false positive? I'm going to come back to that in a second, though. The third category, which doesn't exist anymore, it's now been rolled into held for review. They're combined. But the third category used to be likely spam. So likely spam included things like external web links, or if someone is trying to sell something. I think periodically, if someone is sort of pimping their own YouTube channel on your channel, that would get flagged. Email addresses would get flagged. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. But anyhow, that's all now rolled into held for review. So then, as a content creator, I have a number of different options for any given comment that I review. I can approve it. I can report it to YouTube for any number of reasons: spam, hate speech, sexual content, things like that. I can delete the comment, or I can hide the user from the channel, which means basically this particular viewer can go in, they can leave a comment, they see the comment, but no one else sees the comment. They think that they're still out there doing whatever they're doing, saying, "Steve, you're awful, I don't like you, your videos suck," whatever. I don't see it, you don't see it, only they see it. So they can get whatever little catharsis this offers them, and it doesn't bother the rest of us. I think probably the one that I use most frequently is report to YouTube, because most of what I wind up getting tends to be some sort of spam. It's links to external websites, like adult websites. And one of the ones that's been showing up as spam lately goes something to the effect of, "I don't know if you care, but I hacked my girlfriend's Instagram account using some app. Get out and Google it." Now, initially, this was not being caught by YouTube, so I had to create my own flag. And you can do this as a content creator. So if there's certain words that you don't like or don't want to have show up, you can flag those. And I used a few different combinations because there's a few different ways this particular spam message was phrased. But now it's catching all those, and once they show up in my held for review bucket, I can then report them to YouTube, and then hopefully if YouTube sees this enough, they will start flagging it and automatically deleting it so that I don't have to. In terms of deleting messages, I rarely do that. About the only instances I do that in are if someone posts a phone number or an email address. And I do this for 2 reasons. One, if someone was posting their real phone number, their own phone number or own email address, I feel that opens them up to potential spam, invasions of privacy, whatever. Alternatively, it could be someone posting an ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's phone number or email address, in which case I delete it to protect that person. So I think that's the main instance where I will delete a comment. Typically, if someone posts something especially offensive and it's fairly clear to me that they're a troll, they're looking for a fight, they're looking to antagonize me or potentially antagonize some of you, then I'll just do the hide user from channel and never have to worry about them again. Ultimately, I want the comment section in my videos to feel like a community. I want it to be safe for you, safe for me, enjoyable for all of us. And for the most part, I think I stay on top of it pretty well. And for the most part, I think YouTube does a pretty good job filtering out some of this stuff. However, there have been some instances where things make it through. There was one comment last week that managed to be pretty inclusive in terms of being offensive. It was offensive to the left, it was offensive to the right, and it was just barely veiled racist as well. So that made it through. And I think it had an F-bomb in it as well. But that made it through, yet someone else replied to that person calling him an idiot, and that got flagged and held for review. Probably because it's hate speech to call someone an idiot. I don't know. But I wound up getting rid of that user. That user is now hidden, and we won't be seeing or hearing from him again. But I think that's kind of it for content management in a nutshell. If you have any questions about content management and how it works, let me know down in the description below. And with that, we're going to take a brief ad break. Another thing that I have started doing in the podcasts and will continue to do as long as I get frequently asked questions is responding to some frequently asked questions. One of the questions I get often, and I think I've actually answered it in a previous podcast, yet I continue to get the question, so I will answer it again, which is, Steve, how tall are you? I am 5 foot 9 inches. And that is the end of the frequently asked questions section for this week. Something that has sort of become a theme with my video publishing schedule is that Wednesdays tend to be review days, and I've been reviewing a lot of keto food items. And a comment that I see a lot whenever I do these reviews tends to be on price. People saying these prices are insane, they're ripping people off, they're taking advantage of keto and the keto name. And I think in some instances, that's correct. I think there are some instances where there is a considerable markup just because it's a keto product. But I also believe that a lot of it has to do with cost. And when you're a smaller company, a smaller bakery, whether that's Chipmunk Baking or Crave Bakehouse, for example, there are some costs involved. I mean, flour, for example, all-purpose flour is about 4 or 5 cents per ounce, whereas almond flour is 10 times that. If you look at sweeteners, like cane sugar, that's about 5 cents an ounce, whereas, well, like Boca Sweet, that's about $1 an ounce. But allulose, erythritol, these are also in that 50 to 60 cents per ounce, so 10 times the price there. So just in terms of the raw ingredients, you tend to have more cost. But also then there's the cost of having a bakery, paying rent. You need to make sure that if you're selling food that you've been FDA certified, you're in an FDA certified kitchen. There may be licensing and regulations and inspections that occur on a city level or state level for your bakery. And all of this stuff adds up. About a year ago, my son Connor, who's a certified physical trainer, decided he wanted to try and be an entrepreneur and start a line of nutritional supplements. So protein drinks, pre-workout drinks, post-workout drinks, things like that. And he started looking into what it takes to have any sort of a food or supplement manufacturing business. And when he started seeing the costs, the regulations, all the things you have to deal with in terms of government at either a national or state or local level, he just decided too much work, too frustrating. It just took all of the fun out of it and added considerable cost. And so while I won't deny that keto products, including those from Chipmunk Baking or Crave Bakehouse, are expensive, be aware that there is a lot of costs in this. This is not like Keebler or something. So while I'm not here to defend anybody's pricing, although I think I kind of just did there a little bit, what I would ask is that if you're ever thinking about leaving a comment, accusing some keto company of being criminal in the way that they price stuff and that they're just trying to take advantage of the keto community, just give a tiny bit of thought to the costs that are incurred by these companies as they try and bring you some keto goodies. That's all. Over the past couple of weeks, I have had a number of viewers tell me that they've tried to go back and watch some of my older videos and have been having some troubles doing it. I'm not sure how they're trying to get to my videos. Whether they're going just to the Serious Keto homepage and then clicking videos, that's the best way. In fact, I will include a link down below in the description to the Serious Keto YouTube homepage. And then probably the best thing to do is sort by oldest first. I find when I search by newest first and start scrolling through the list, I hit a point at about a year ago where I just get that little spinning wheel down at the bottom and it doesn't load any more videos. But if I go by oldest first, I get that first year, year and a half of my videos. So if you're looking for older videos, that's a good way to do it. If you're, binge watching or something. And this leads me to an idea that I'd like to get your feedback on. I'm thinking about throwing a little something into my weekly mix. So Mondays, podcast, Wednesdays, generally a product review, Fridays, typically a cooking video. And something I would like to throw into the mix is Flashback Thursdays, because I was going through some of my older videos, ones that I think are pretty good. At least the recipe is good. Maybe the videography wasn't that great, maybe the editing wasn't that tight, but it was a really good recipe. And the view count on it is really low. Probably because it's one of my older videos and something that people can't scroll down and find easily, or I don't know, but for whatever reason, hasn't been viewed a lot. And my thought was, on Thursdays, I would just have a quick little blurb about the video, and then a link to that older video, and then you can check out some older videos. So I'd be curious to know from any new subscribers, so basically anyone that's subscribed in the past year, do you think this Flashback Thursday thing is a good idea? Let me know down in the comments below. In terms of my weekly Easter egg, kind of appropriate given that this is Easter Monday, last week I didn't have anything on the stool behind me because I didn't want to distract from my new Serious Keto canvas that I hung up, which I think looks pretty good there. It would be nice to have something bigger, but Teespring, that was the biggest size that they had. Still, it doesn't have that reflection on it that that guitar poster had, and it doesn't seem to draw focus away from my face. And I don't mean like your focus, I mean the camera focus. A couple weeks ago, focus was kind of fading in and out on my face and then like in on the guitar poster. So problem solved, Easter egg explained. I think that's it for this week. Thanks for watching or listening.